Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I want to talk to you about how things are going in our homeschool. So I think it was last week I put up a video going over how the curriculum's going and what we're liking and what's working, what's not working, but I thought it'd also be a good idea to put up a video to talk about how we're personally doing with the transition from public school to homeschool. Because if you're new here, my 8-year-old daughter attended public school from kindergarten to 2nd grade. And for her 3rd grade year, this will be our first year homeschooling. So I thought I would talk about, what's working well and surprising for me, what's not working so well with it. Same with my daughter, my 8-year-old, and then also my 4-year-old, who is also doing homeschooling with us right now. So first, and I did make some notes down here, so if you see me looking down. So let's start with things that are going really well. So teaching is not a new concept for me. I've always, even before we homeschooled, taught my children at home. I supplemented their education whenever I saw, knowledge gaps that the public school left, and I always taught them how to read and all those things like that. So teaching is not a new concept to me. Like I said, also before I had kids, I had the privilege of working in the really good school systems, and I worked with really good teachers, and I picked up a lot of good, tricks of the trade. So moving into a teaching role has not been difficult, and actually has made me more confident in my teaching abilities. What's been working really well is it's really nice to be the one there that's seeing these transformations, seeing these moments where the light bulb goes on, and you can see them understanding a concept. And because I know my children so well, I can also help them get to that light bulb moment a little easier with more focused attention than maybe in a public school setting. One thing that's been working really well is the freedom of our schedule. That has been new. So, for example, my husband has certain times he's off, and usually it's during the school year, and before we wouldn't be able to do anything or go anywhere. I mean, we can't really do much now because it's still a pandemic, but usually it'd be my husband at home and my daughter would be in school, so they didn't get a lot of time to spend together. And because of our schedule now, I was able to schedule our week off, because we do the Sabbath scheduling, 6 weeks on, 1 week off. I was able to schedule the week that he had off with the week we had off, so we were able to do some things. We were able to go to a museum as a family. We were able to just watch movies in the middle of the day, and a lot of one-on-one time we necessarily wouldn't have gotten if she was in a public school setting. So some things that have been difficult, I definitely would say the extra workload on me. Now my husband helps as much as he can, but he has a demanding job and he works late a lot of times. So it's me running the whole parenting load, and then to add on that layer of teaching is difficult time-wise. I don't get a lot of free time to begin with, and some of that free time has been taken away to do things like curriculum research, just teacher prep, getting things ready for the week, making sure I understand the concepts. Also, it's important for me to maintain professional development, make sure I'm keeping up on things like that. That's important to me. But it does take away from some of my personal time. I'm many things besides a mom and a teacher. I have interest in hobbies that I would like to pursue, but some of that doesn't get as much time as it used to, and that's difficult. Figuring out how to schedule in personal time for myself while also making sure everything else is taken care of, which I'm sure a lot of mothers and parents deal with. Another one that has been difficult, I would say, is it is a financial burden, so to say. It's difficult, and some people say you can homeschool on a very small budget and all you need is a library card. I disagree with that. I think you can make compromises in areas, but ultimately it is your responsibility to provide the best education you can for your child, and somewhere along the way you're going to have to use some form of curriculum. And there are free curriculums out there, yes, but it doesn't always line up with what your child needs. And that's another aspect too, is that it can be difficult to purchase curriculum that you think will work well and it doesn't, and you have to put it down. So you're essentially wasting your money, and that's difficult because homeschool curriculum isn't always cheap. So playing that hit and miss game can be difficult, especially when you're working within a budget, knowing that you allocated certain money to that didn't work out. The same with field trip budgeting and things like that. You can't necessarily go everywhere you want to because of financial constraints. And we did pay a certain amount of money to the public school when we sent her there, but it was significantly less than we have spent on homeschooling. And it could be because it's my first year, so I spent more than a typical homeschooler, but it is a financial concern when homeschooling that it's going to cost you some money. Going back to the freedom of schedule is nice, but it's also difficult because I'm the only one. If someone's sick, it can make it difficult. So for example, my 1.5-year-old had an ear infection this last week. And it was difficult because he didn't want to go to sleep unless I was holding him and rocking him in his chair, which is fine, I get it, he's sick, but that means it's pretty much a lost day of teaching because I can't do both those things at the same time. While if my child was in public school, they would be getting their full day of teaching, while I could better attend to my son, and he kind of gets the short end of that too, because normally if they were in public school, I would have all this time to see to his needs or my 4-year-old's needs, and now their time is split more because I have this extra responsibility. So it is a struggle. It's still worth it in my mind completely, but I want to be real that it's not easy, that you've got a lot of balls you're juggling in the air and learning, and sometimes those fall. And learning to work with that is different. So one thing I also did is I stopped using Instagram. I just found it was not being helpful. A lot of it, especially homeschooling Instagram accounts, are just plugging something, a sponsorship, or it's just not an accurate view of what things are. And I would find myself comparing or not getting any actual inspiration from anything, but just feeling bad about that, oh, I didn't do that, or I don't have time for that. And then I would post pictures on my Instagram as well, and I got to the point where I was trying to line up shots, and what's the point? That's not real life. So I just stopped using it, haven't gone back, I don't regret it. I mean, there are some people that I think do really well on Instagram and have great accounts, but it's just not worth my time. Like I said, I have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things going on that's really not worth my time now. So now on to my 8-year-old. So what's going well with her and what's not? So let's start with going well. I've seen her confidence and her self-esteem skyrocket. She used to have a lot of math anxiety because of just how things went in the public school. And to see her become confident in herself and knowing that she can do things herself, especially when it comes to math, has been great. Things at her pace, since we can schedule things, how she best works with it has been really helpful. For example, we were doing math and we had to go over some problems that she got wrong, and she got some anxiety about it, thinking that we wouldn't have time to finish other things. And I had to explain to her that, we don't have time constraints, we'll just move on when we're done. So it alleviated some of that anxiety that she was having in public school, which has been really nice to see her grow in that way. Her self-esteem, I said, and confidence have gone way up, so that's really nice. She's also gotten some really good time management skills, some personal responsibility. She can get her independent work. She knows if she gets that done right away that she has more freedom, so seeing that growth in her too has been really nice. Some difficulties is the socialization aspect. I mean, it is more difficult because we are in a pandemic, so not an ideal situation to start homeschooling for socialization, but I mean, we have found a local group that works really well. The moms and the kids all get along really well, but it was not easy to find this group. I am not in an area that's homeschooling is very prevalent. There are, I think there's a large Christian group in our co-op in our area that after talking to them and looking into things, it just wasn't a good fit for our family, so that wasn't an option. And then, you know, you can put them into different activities, but my daughter's used to coming from an environment where it's 29 of her peers for 7 hours a day to go to, you know, meeting a couple times a week with a co-op or having Lego club or something like that. It's not the same amount of socialization she's used to. So we're adapting to that and we're seeing how it's going, but it's definitely a change that she's getting used to. And the same with that is she's used to, like I said, one thing after the other in public school. You don't really have time to do what you want. It's always move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. So when she does have free time, she's now learning how to use it. It's often, I'm bored, because she's not constantly getting that next thing. So she's having to relearn how to pretty much entertain herself now because there's not always the next thing to do. And let's see, I think, so I mean, overall it's going really well, but there are some struggles with it. And the same to go with that is moving into a teaching role is easy for me, and my daughter, I would say it's easy for her to see me as both the teacher and the mom because we've always been that way. But it can definitely have some pushback. I mean, she's more comfortable with me, which is nice, and one aspect that she'll share her feelings and her opinions openly and feel more comfortable talking to me about things. But on the negatives, she won't hold back. She probably shows sometimes a little more respect towards a teacher than me, and it can be difficult in situations like, for example, she was doing a writing assignment and the handwriting was sloppy, and I said, you know, I can't really read this well. When you write, you need to take your time, concentrate, and form the letters. And she's like, well, what's the point, Mom? You're the only one reading it. So, I mean, that's the problem. She thinks because I'm the only one, she doesn't necessarily have to put forth her best effort always. So that is a struggle we're working with. Now to my youngest, my 4, almost 5-year-old, she's doing kindergarten/first grade work at home with us. Some good things is that she's exposed to a lot of the electives, the group work we do together, so she's getting that information at a young age, and it's amazing what she actually retains. So she's definitely at a much higher level than she would be in a preschool or public school setting. One of the drawbacks to that, though, is there's less one-on-one time for us. For example, when my 8-year-old was in school, my 4-year-old would have, you know, mom to herself for that entire period of time. And that also goes for my 1.5-year-old. You know, he gets a little less time than, say, if she was in public school, because I have these other responsibilities I have to deal with, that it kind of gets shortchanged a little with that. So I try my best to, again, juggle those different responsibilities, but it is difficult knowing that, you know, I'm not going to most likely do the fun little Montessori preschool activities I did with his oldest sister. And my 4, almost 5-year-old won't get a lot of the one-on-one Barbie attention playtime that I did with the other kids. So it is a sacrifice in that. I mean, there's a gain and there's also a sacrifice. And I would say that pretty much sums up the first 3 months of our homeschooling journey, is that there are some really great things, and then there's also some things we've had to compromise or give up. So I will continue to update every now and then about how things are going on a more personal nature, not just curriculum for you guys. So again, if you have any questions, please leave them down below, but thanks for watching.